out of all the JDM cars in the world, I think there's a very few that stand out. And I think there's something special about wide-body JDM cars that have always stood out to me in a special way. Whether or not that's the BRZ, 350Z, Hyundai Genesis, even though that's technically a Korean car. A lot of these wide-body, Pandem, Liberty Walk, all of these kits, to me, make the car one level above. There's one of those kits that I've seen that has kind of perfected it, in my opinion. Suzuki KEI is maybe my favorite car of all time.
この度新型鈴木キャリーSuzuki KEI
荷台も広々ゆったりキャビンで新登場
With the Suzuki KEI, there is maybe a few quirky bits about it. It looks cute, it's adorable, it's quite tiny, but you get the practicality of a normal, big Ford F-150 pickup truck. The truck bed is the same size. It overall is just a much less threatening appearance. And then you also don't have to deal with having to try to figure out parking spaces. I think that car is quite literally the perfect thing for what it sells in small Japanese roads, and the reason why it's just a commoner farmer's truck in Japan. When you take that and then you bring it into the American market that does not have any of these K vehicles, whether or not it's an AutoZam all the way to a Cappuccino, I think the Suzuki KEI kind of stands above the rest in my opinion. When I first saw this kit being put on by Dan from Hoonigan and then Kimura himself, it's a beautiful build. I have a few different things I want to do with it though, that I change it up to my own unique thing. Not only am I going to do a completely custom interior stitching, because that's what I like, but I also want to be able to enjoy the luxuries of having a motorcycle in the back of it as a transport vehicle. I also have other visions with it that I'm not going to spare too much, but definitely going to take some of the previous inspiration from people that have done this in the future. I, then again, am inspired by these builds. I don't want to make a replica of these builds. Also, every one of these wide-body K trucks so far have been white on white on white. I plan on changing. First off, I had to find a place that sold it. Luckily, Cars from Japan, not a plug, did kind of have a really good steal. I ended up all in spending $3,700 on a K truck. It only has like 16,000 miles on it when I had originally picked it up. I had to have it shipped from Japan all the way through the Panama Canal, all the way up into Baltimore, Maryland, which is quite a far distance from where I am from, Minnesota. So there is quite no port nearby. So it was a little trek having to deal with that. Had to fly out twice trying to get it. The first flight was kind of a fail.
We are going today to Baltimore to pick up this guy's car. My twin ordered a car from Japan. We're going to be going to Baltimore to pick this up. It is at the port of Duntok. We're going to be picking it up from the port, and then we're going to be driving it all the way from Baltimore back to Minnesota. So right now, when we showed up, unfortunately, they don't know where it is. There's multiple different locations here, so we're gonna have to come in here and then also get an escort to drive us around, so we'll find it. Which is bad or good? Which is good. I think that if it's in customs, that means they're holding it.
We showed up there, and even though I went through a broker to deal with all of the U.S. taxes stuff and trying to make sure that the U.S. Customs understands what it is and that it's released to us, they told me it was clear. It was not clear. I ended up having to fly back a day or two later, right after getting there, without the truck at all in hand. About a month and a half later, I had to travel out by myself this time and pick it up. Luckily this time, picking up did not go nearly as hard as the last time. There was a little legality of having to wear the high-vis vest, otherwise not allowed on the port, which I did not travel and pack one in my bag carry-on. But luckily the guy had an extra one. I actually stole the one off of his back.
Held that job 5 years.
Nice.
I mean, 5 years old when I left.
Wow.
Yeah. I went in business for myself.
I can't believe it's real. God damn, this thing is cute.
And then Then I had to drive 1,300 miles back. That is a tenth of its total lifespan in the last 30 years getting put on in 2 days. I don't know whether or not this vehicle is sturdy, whether or not it's even capable of doing this, and it tops out at 70 miles an hour. I have to go through the back canyons of Pennsylvania, all the way through Utah, up into Illinois and through Wisconsin. Luckily, the trip was not completely a disaster. There was a lot of no sleeping nights and a lot of Monster energy drinks that were drinking.
Dad doesn't reset. Did we stay to state? Had to leave home for the weekend. Got him screaming. Wait.
Let's go, Pittsburgh! I can hear the end of the Steelers game from here. There's like 1 minute left in the game. That's wild. But dear God, this is just a beautiful city. That is... They just build bridges everywhere. They decide that, hey, everything needs to be bridge to bridge. There's nothing that's not a bridge. And it's either on the side of a cliff or underneath and above another bridge. I'm going to overtake. We're overtaking. Oh my God.
She sad, she blame it on the season. It's like I'm tired. Hit a rag, started quiet. F4A1.
Everyone's loving the K truck. That biker right there just waved me down and gave me a shit ton of thumbs ups. I keep getting stopped at gas stations. Everyone wants to talk about this bike. My foot is all the way to the pedal, and I'm maxed out. Luckily, I think that gauge works, and I don't think we're overheating.
Call me Mr. Rain, I'm a big gun for hire. I smacked him with an iron, it's the one they made for tire.
You know, on the way back, I did get to do one exciting thing instead of just drive all night long. I was able to stop at one of my favorite people, Brema's. He has a clothing company over in Milwaukee that called him Finish Legacy. Very dope location. They hooked me up. They were very, very sweet people. I've been meaning to stop by, even though it's only like 4 to 6 hours away. Just not yet had the chance. And since I had to drive through Milwaukee anyways, it was a perfect opportunity and chance to.
I'm the villain, baby, what you wanna know about me? I got evil in my blood, baby, what's
The trip did
around
not
me?
go perfectly as one might entail when you're traveling that far across country. Did have a instant like 30 miles from home after all of that, and got ran off the road into a construction zone and do have some front end damage on the K truck. It broke not only the front giant window, but it also broke a front panel, dented that in a little bit, and had a little scuff marks here and there. Luckily, should be able to clean that up with a little bit of Bondo and whatever I decide to throw on the glass, whether or not the Lexan or the actual original glass. My current plan as of right now is going to be a Pandem Y-Body kit, or Rocket Bunny as the Japanese version of it is called. Motorcycle mount for the truck bed, a quick release steering wheel, custom interior that I'm going to stitch, low profile custom wing for the back, got a suspension, don't know whether I'm keeping the leaf spring or whether I'm going with a full shock mount, wrap, a monoblock 6-spoke, probably like a classic JDM design wheel, probably like something like a Rotogrid. I really like those wheels, but the issue is it's got to be a 15-inch diameter, and it's got to be quite a thick wheel.
This down over here, that's where you access the dipstick. That's where you have the drain plug and oil fill cap right there. Underneath the seat right here is also your coilover, and all you have as padding is this tiny seat. So one seat there, one seat there. We just took off the headliner because it was kind of moldy and not great, but this little backboard he's also going to be redoing. This is the actual truck itself. We have some tools on it, and we're going to try to take apart the front piece that we looked at yesterday night. The only issue is I think to access this piece, we actually need to take off the dash and to find the bolts that these are mounted into. So wish us luck on that. We're going to try to figure out how to take apart. So to be able to actually see what that front piece is comprised of, we are actively trying to take off the dash. I took off majority of the bolts that we found around the dash to be able to hold it in. It moves and jiggles right now, but there's only one bolt down there. We don't have a big enough screwdriver to get it out right now, so we're gonna take that out, and then we're gonna find a bigger screwdriver and take that out, and then we can remove this dash, see how that front is mounted up, and then we're gonna try to figure out how we can either reconstruct it or just do it differently. My brother wants me to fucking straight pipe this thing. It's gonna sound terrible because it's a motorcycle engine, but the good news is it's literally just one bracket and 2 bolts, so it shouldn't be that hard. So It looks like I'm stealing catalytic converter, big deal. I'm gonna quickly remove this thing and then it's gonna get louder, but we'll see how much louder it's gonna get.
Maybe I gotta try the line. I make it look effortless. I make it look effortless. Tell you what, I don't need to preface it. Make it look effortless.
I'm not. I saw you scrape this. I hell on this edge. That's true. It's basically side exit exhaust now. Rev it, rev it, rev it. Skyler, the security guard is right behind us.
That is nasty.
At least it starts though. Does it start? You cannot hear it? No, I can't hear it in there.
It is I don't think I've ever heard a car that loud.
It's the most brilliant thing I've done in my life.
Dude, let's wait for this dude to leave and then rev it for you. It sounds insane.
That is actually insane. What the hell? So right now the K truck is about to get started. We're about to drive this and take it for a rip. Once we've taken it for a rip, we're gonna go look at it. I wanna look at it in driving and I also wanna drive it and see what it feels like. I'm gonna be on the board so I can get some cinematic videos of this car. I think we just added like 10 horsepower. Horsepower is restricted in exhaust systems.
Do you see how tiny that exhaust is? That thing was like a quarter.
Oh, the end little thing? Yeah.
That had no airflow.
I hate it here. It's so fucking loud. I wish you guys understood. Jacob, stop. Jesus Christ, that thing is way too fucking loud. The thing sounds like a dirt bike. The thing's ridiculous. You can smell the fuel too. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, that should be illegal. There's no way that should be okay. Boogie, boogie, boogie. I literally was just like boogie, boogie, boogie. And he jumped. I got it on video too.
I'm just gonna do a rip down here, and then I'll grab you, Scott, and then you can.
Okay. Rip it. I think it just sounds loud. I don't even think it sounds good. I think it just sounds loud.
No, bro. Yeah, there's a reason. Did we stay to stay? Had to leave home for the